Originally, I had no plan of joining the sports team. It was more along the lines of just going to WASU and having my 2 DJ shifts per week, 1 hour at a time, sometimes 2. But ultimately, I met somebody who I knew that ran the department, and that ultimately got me into the what do I want to say here? It got me into the sports team. I talked to him about it, and that's basically how I joined it. The best thing we've ever done as a sports team, or as a member, it would probably be calling the Sun Belt Championship game last football season. It was one of the best experiences of my life. Just the atmosphere that building, or that the stadium had, was, for lack of a better word, it was unfucking believable. It was something that I'm never going to forget. I got to do sideline for it. They just the atmosphere, everybody in there, Kid Brewer, you could feel the anticipation for that specific day, and something that I'm never going to forget. It was just, like I said, it was incredible. Overall, the guys on the sports team, I don't mind them. I like them. Yes, they can be a bit much. Some of them have, for lack of a better word, big personalities, to say the least. But I've worked with most of them, or a few of them, for multiple years now, and it's one of the best. It's one of my closest group of friends, despite, as I said, some of them having bigger egos than they should. Alright, joining the sports team has impacted my life in a few ways, honestly. One, it's allowed me to live my dream of calling games and being part of something that I've wanted to do since, quite frankly, I could watch TV and understand what a sports broadcaster was. It's given me the opportunity where I could do something that I enjoy doing, but ultimately something else that it's done. I don't know why I said ultimately there. Anyway, it's given me something that I could use to de-stress, and something that I would enjoy doing in my time here at App State. It also has led me, as I mentioned before in the previous question, it's given me the opportunity to make some great friends who I'm really close with, and ultimately I think that has been the biggest thing, because when I transferred here, I knew nobody. I transferred here in 2016. I didn't know anybody. And the sports team just took me right away. I've done a few broadcasts I would deem my favorite. The one that I was the most emotionally vested in would be the WBI championship game, the Women's Basketball Invitational that Appalachia State was in. I was on all 3 games that were here in Boone, and it was just one of the most emotional roller coasters that I've had here, because I don't know how many of you know this, but Andrew Elderkin, the head coach of the Appalachia State women's basketball team, she is on her 2nd bout with cancer. So just to have a basketball team here, and that determination of that coach, and the connection that the sports team really has with that women's team. They love the women's team on the sports team, or on the sports staff, and it's just something that, quite frankly, we were all very hyped about, and we honestly can't really describe like how happy we've been. It was just something that really the people who were here on the sports staff wanted. Yes, we won the Sun Belt Championship game, but the sports staff loves the women's team, and it was just something that we were able to celebrate, because App State, as I'm sure a lot of people know, is not really known as a basketball school. It's more of a football school. So to have a basketball team at our university win a postseason tournament, the first one they've been to and won since 2010, which was the same WBI tournament, is just something that we all really bonded over, and something that we all enjoyed. My favorite part of a broadcast, there's really only one thing I can think of, and that's like the 30 seconds before the before we go on air. when the camera, or in this case microphones, go live, and the play-by-play guy he starts to read his monologue, and that's when I know, all right, we're about to do something that we love doing. I still get goosebumps and my heart still races every time I do it. It's just something that I thoroughly enjoy. That rush of adrenaline is a feeling that I love, and just being able to call games, those things really are my personal favorite parts. Yes, I know the championships are nice. Apps won a championship in football the last 3 years, including the Sun Belt title game this year. But just the adrenaline rush that I get when that camera goes live, I don't have that type of adrenaline rush in a lot of other things. My favorite sports moment here at App State, I have a couple, and I've talked about them a lot. It would be the Appalachian State versus Louisiana Sun Belt Championship game. I was on the sideline. It was something where I love being in that atmosphere of a championship game. It's something I love. It's just an incredible atmosphere to see the Rock or Kidd Brewer Stadium packed out, and yes, they had to change all of the logos and stuff that were around the football stadium to be unbiased. Even though we all know that this Kidd Brewer is a Mountaineer football. A Mountaineer football area. And my guilty sports pleasure. There's no question. It's watching the Blue Devils lose. I cannot stand Duke, so anytime that they lose, I'm all for it. I love watching Duke lose. I don't care if it's to a team that I don't like Kentucky, Kansas, or whatever. Anytime Duke loses, there's no better feeling for me sport-wise. I'm a diehard UNC fan. I grew up about 20 minutes from Chapel Hill, and I've been a diehard UNC fan for as long as I can remember. The most embarrassing thing I've ever done on a broadcast, I don't really have many of those, honestly. We have, I've had a couple instances actually, yes, I do have a couple, actually. One of them was I accidentally had my knee going out over the air for a basketball game, and you could hear me on the radio while the music was playing, so that was kind of the low point. Of course, that was one of my first couple times board hopping, and board hopping is where you control the board, make sure everything's going out, play the ads or spots over the air, and that kind of thing. And then I would say the other one was during I can't remember which football game it was, but having the football game press play-by-play and color throw it down to me. Actually, I think it was the first game of the season against Gardner-Webb, where we won 72-7. They threw it down to me, and they were asking me a question, but my microphone wasn't working, so I went back, or I went, they basically went 10-15 seconds without anything over the air, and that was kind of embarrassing for me, but being the sideline guy that they were throwing it down to, but that's the business. Not everything is going to work out every time.